What's up, everybody? I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2, and welcome everybody to my channel, and welcome to our third episode of the Red Alert Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about one topic in particular, Vince Russo, and the garbage that this moron has done over the past several years, including the death of Owen Hart. But many of you know, back in May of 1999, Owen Hart was about to come down from the ceiling for an Intercontinental Championship match against the Godfather as the Blue Blazer. And tragedy struck when Owen Hart the cable that was holding Owen Hart up broke, and Owen Hart fell to his death. And the reason why we're on Vince Russo, is because of the garbage shit that he did. This stupid son of a bitch has said that he had nothing to do with the death of Owen Hart. Fuck off. Yes, he did. This son of a bitch told Owen to go up to the roof of the Kiel Center, if I remember correctly. That's where they were, I think.
Kemper Arena, actually.
Yeah, Kemper, thank you. And to come down on the cable, knowing full damn well that Owen hated heights. Owen hated fucking heights. Owen was scared of heights. So why would you have someone go up there who's afraid of heights? And you know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that went on during that night, and stuff like that. There's a lot of shit that went on. I know for a fact that Vince Russo had something to do with Owen's murder. That if Vince Russo has something to do with Owen's death, that asshole had a lot to do with it. I'm gonna get Knight's point of view here in a little bit. Dude, what do you think about that whole situation? Like, what's your thoughts?
Well, to me, it's bogus, really. To me, Owen did not like heights. It has been documented that Owen never liked heights. And I remember watching this documentary they did on Owen Hart. And Owen, there's a part where Owen told his wife Martha that he didn't want to do it. So well, don't do it then. Don't do it. And less of that. But so basically, what WWE at the time was trying to do was emulate WWE. So at the time, they were in war with WWE ratings and all this stuff. And you remember WWE fans, those you know, Sting, who would always ascend from the rafters when he would come down to fight the NWO or what help out WWE when they needed help. You know, you would see Sting come from the rafters.
Yeah.
That was what Sting would do. And WWE decided, well, let's try to emulate that, and we'll bring the Blue Blazer and we'll make him fly into, flying into the arena. Well, that was a mistake. I mean, we knew Owen did not like heights to begin with, but it was one man's idea to try to emulate that, and that man was Vince Russo.
Yeah.
Russo decided to try to play, say, hey, you know what? Just do what the position. Let's put him to the ground, whatever. Now, going forward, I mean, everybody kind of knew this idea wasn't good. Even Owen knew it was not good, a good idea. But they pressured him into doing this. And, and if you watch this, there's a video that's on YouTube somewhere of Vince talking about that he was had nothing to do with that he said that Owen did not say I didn't want to go a different way. Owen said that I don't want to cool. Well, Russo, this was your idea. Owen may have not told you anything, but you should have known from the beginning that this idea was not going to be good. So now we fast forward to Kemper Arena, the night over the edge. Owen Hart is scheduled to take on Scott Todd for the National Championship.
Yeah.
We're all looking forward to it. Well, that's when we had to do a strike. When you come in malfunction, Owen would fall to his death. And the Hart family, the lawsuit that followed, everything that happened afterwards, about all that, I tell you, man, it was still this. Had Owen not have done, Owen Hart would still be alive today. He either would be retired from wrestling. Hell, he could be put in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
That's what I think. This thing should have been avoided. It should have been avoided, and Vince Russo decided to say, well, let's go and do this, and look what happened. Look what it led up to. So, yeah, Vince Russo, I don't know how you can live with yourself knowing that you had this man named Owen Hart, who was like a 200-some-pound man, put in a harness that's not even fit to custom-make a heavy man like Owen Hart. So you try to lower him down. And so, Russo, you know what? Everybody's been looking at you about this. And I think you are to blame.
Yeah.
For what happened.
Yes, exactly. This stupid son of a bitch is to blame for what happened in 1999. For what happened to Owen Hart in 1999. He can sit there all he wants and lie and say, I didn't do it, bro. I didn't do it, bro. I didn't do it, bro. Fuck you. Fuck you and your bro. You stupid son of a bitch. You have no idea. He's gonna sit there, dude, and say that he had no idea that he had nothing to do with it. No bullshit. Yes, you did. You told Owen to go up there to the fucking rafters, dude, and you oh, you son of a bitch. Vince Russo told this jackass to go up there to the top of the Kemper Arena and fucking do this bullshit flying trapeze act.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. That
fucking ended up killing him. He fell. How many feet was it? What, 60 feet down?
Around there.
From the rafters.
It was real high.
It had to have been at least 60, 70 feet from the rafters to the ring. He was scared to death. Owen was the first. I'm pretty sure they got what I read is that they got a stunt guy the last time to play the Blue Blazer, and that's how that ended up happening.
Yeah.
But Vince Russo, his stupid idea is, let's put Owen in the costume again, and let's have him go. Let's have him do the Sting crap, the Sting stuff, going from the roof all the way down to the ring. Oh, it's gonna be very, very interesting. No, you stupid moron. Did anybody think, too, this is another thing that makes me mad, and it's going towards Vince McMahon as well. Did anybody check to see if the fucking cable was tampered with? To see if everything else was tampered with? Before you did this crap? Did anybody ever think before doing this crap with Owen to check if the cable was to check if the cable wasn't gonna snap? Owen didn't want to do any of this shit. Owen didn't want to have nothing to do with this. So why in all of God's creation would you do this crap? You put Owen 100 feet up above the ring, and you decide, oh, let's do the Sting thing because you're trying to get ratings. Russo, you're an idiot and a moron. Because, dude, this is the thing, and this is the thing. It goes back to what I was saying before. Did someone tampered with the goddamn thing, and that's why the fucking rope snapped? That's what I believe. And I believe that it was under Russo's orders. I believe that Russo was the one that told the son of a bitch, "Hey, tamper with this." Russo had a lot to do with the bullshit that happened in 1999, and that is garbage. Yep. Russo is gonna sit there on a podcast and say that he had nothing to do with what happened with Owen. No, he's a lying son of a bitch. What do you think, man?
Exactly. He planned it all. There's a lot of what was happening. I mean, from what I've been hearing about it, there was also a quick release latch, so when Owen would come down, he can always easily get out of the harness. And as you know, on Heat, one night, the night before Survivor Series, if you remember, guys, on the Heat before Survivor Series 1999, that's in the 8th, excuse me, Owen did the same stunt, and he got stuck. So what they tried to do was put something for Owen to easily get out of. And that was what the mistake it was right there, because putting something that easy to get out of, it could still open when you're still in midair. And that, and like I said, that's tampering. Adding something that does not even work, and it didn't work, and it obviously when Owen moved, the thing opened and he fell. And that's not the right equipment to handle a huge human pound, 200-pound man of human flesh. Have something like that in that harness, that's not good. So Vince Russo can sit there and do all he wants, but my friend and I know that at the end of the day, he had everything to do it because it was his thinking idea to begin with.
Yes, it was his idea. He had every part of this. Him and McMahon had every part of this shit. I really don't care what McMahon says neither. McMahon can sit there too and say that he had no part of it neither. No, that son of a bitch had a lot to do with this shit.
Yeah.
That son of a bitch had a lot to do with this shit too. McMahon and Russo had a lot to do with what happened to Owen all those years ago. And Owen would be alive right now. With his kids, with his wife Martha. He would be alive right now.
He would have watched his kids grown up. He would have been in their lives. Can you imagine how his two kids feel without their dad in their life? I mean, really, think about that. It just hit me too. We also were going to bring up as well. It just hit me. I remember now. We're going to talk about Ed Ferrara. We're going to bring that up a little bit later on about what happened in fans. If you don't remember the slowdown son of a bitch did in WCW, well, let's just say what he did was something that him and I, and my friend Eric, don't agree about, and that's making fun of Jim Ross. And we're going to talk to you about that, but let me finish on something on heart. Owen had a great family. He had a wonderful family, his son and daughter, that he never watched them grow up. But in 1999, the mistake was made, and when he died. And can you imagine how his kids are feeling right now, knowing that their father is not in their life?
Yeah.
And what's going through their minds, knowing that their dad is not there? And what if his daughter gets married? Who's supposed to walk down in the aisle? The father. Never going to be the same.
No. Okay, so now we're gonna so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna switch gears from one asshole to another. We're gonna switch gears to another son of a bitch who was part of that WWF writing team back in 1999. The two of those motherfuckers left WWF in October and went to WCW. Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara are two of the biggest garbage piece of shit motherfuckers you have ever seen in your entire life, and there's reason for that. And I want to stick a fork in Ed Ferrara too, because of what he did about Jim Ross. There was an episode of Monday Nitro. There was an episode of Nitro where he comes out dressed as JR. They call him the Oklahoman. He's making light that JR has cerebral palsy, which is a freaking thing, which is a freaking thing that happens to one side of your face. It makes you. It looks like Down syndrome, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's more terrifying. It's more freaking horrible than that.
Very serious.
It's a very serious freaking disease that JR has, and he makes light of it by freaking doing this god awful impression of JR by making fun of JR. Nothing was more meaner than what the hell that stupid son of a bitch Ed Ferrara did. And then to top it all off, who was behind him during the whole time? Dr. Death, Steve Williams. Dr. Death, Steve Williams was behind him the whole time when he was doing that shit. And if I remember correctly, isn't Dr. Death supposed to be the friend of JR?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? God rest his soul. God rest Dr. Death's soul, but he was an asshole for not sticking up for JR. For not sticking up that night. That night, fucking Tony Schiavone and Bobby, I think Bobby Heenan was there. They were sitting down there at the announcer's booth laughing with Ed Ferrara while that son of a bitch was doing that shit. That is disrespectful to a legend who has been in this industry for 30 some odd years. God knows how long he's been wrestling. You know what I mean? And it's stupid that Ed Ferrara is going to do stupid shit like this, man. You know?
Yeah.
Hey.
I like how you were right there. Yeah, you can open it. What?
But anyway, what do you think about the whole thing with Ed Ferrara, man?
In my opinion, I agree with you. It's total bullshit that happened because, like we said before, JR had 3 bad bouts with cell palsy, and it affected his face. And that's a very serious medical condition that affects your face or any. It doesn't have to be your face; it can be any part of your body. You don't know. Cell palsy can attack anywhere, but for unfortunately, JR has to be his face. Now, for those of you fans who want to go up in the old school days, if you watch the old school WCW and all that, you saw how young James Ross really looked. That was him in his prime. That's when he looked real good, but it wasn't until when he was struck with Bell's palsy, and that's a very serious condition.
Yeah.
And trying to make fun of that is uncalled for. And here's the thing: Dr. Steve Williams really behind the Vic Ferrara doing all that WCW. You know, he's a legend. I respect him, guy with his soul, but yeah, he was a jerk for not standing up to him. And not to mention the fact that Bobby Heenan and Shivani laughing along with that. You know, come on, Bobby. I mean, I respect God rest your soul. I respect you. You were a great manager and all, Bobby, but you to go that was not right. And you Tony Schiavone, that was not right. Because JR had that condition because his brother had it and it passed it on to him. And he unfortunately had to have it.
Yeah.
And that's why he never worked a lot in the WWF because he had to go through all this with Bell's palsy.
Yeah.
And for Ed Ferrara to make fun of that, to basically make fun of a man's condition, it's not right because there are people out there who have serious medical conditions that affect their brains, affect their all the senses, whether it's taste, touch, smell, sight, whatever.
Yeah.
People want to be out there making fun of that. No, that's wrong. Because they don't see that how serious a condition is.
Yeah.
And so everyone, damn you for that, for doing that to JR, because JR is a well-respected man, and he has been through a lot of hell with that disease.
Yeah.
You just sit there and make it your mouth like his and try to educate him and pinata, you know what? That was not right. And it never will be right. And damn you for that. You'll always be a jerk for that.
Yeah. I think Ed Ferrara and Vince Russo, dude, are two of the biggest pieces of garbage that I've ever seen in my entire life. I'll say it again, too.
Yeah.
I don't like them both. I hate Ed Ferrara. I don't like Vince Russo because of what they have done. The horse shit that is their wrestling careers. The garbage that Russo did with Owen, and then top it all off, not to mention the fact that Russo got worse when he was running WCW. We talked about some of the crap that he did in WCW yesterday on this podcast.
On the last episode, yeah.
But Ed Ferrara was garbage. You know what I mean? And I have no respect for Ed Ferrara, nor do I have any respect for Vince Russo, because they were good writers for the WWF. They were good writers in the WWF when they were in the WWF, but as far as everything else goes, they were shit. They were shitty people for the terrible things that they did. And stuff like that. So, but yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about these two idiots, as we have talked about Ed Ferrara and Vince Russo on this podcast. What do you think of Russo and Ferrara? What do you think of the two biggest dumbasses in the history of professional wrestling? Let us know in the comments section down below. That is going to be it for this next edition of the Red Alert podcast. I am Mr. Grimreaper Fallen 2 with Dark Knight 987, and we will see you all in the afterlife. Peace.